Hello everyone, welcome. And so a few words about meditation before we start. That it can go without saying, maybe that in the context of a community that practices mindfulness, that mindfulness is important. But I think it's probably often the case that for all of us, we don't appreciate how important it is. That our capacity to be aware, to be attentive, is not that what we pay attention to is important. It is, but how we pay attention, how we are aware, that's the real key. And the goal of Buddhism is found more in the freedom of awareness, where awareness is not hijacked for our desires and our aversions. That awareness is not drowned out by our self-preoccupations. That our connection, the way that awareness can enliven us, is not lost by the focus on what we're aware of. And so to pay attention to how we're aware and see if we can find some degree of freedom in the how we're aware. Some degree of nourishment, some degree of peace, some degree of a kind of coming home where it feels really right to abide in awareness, to simply be aware and not be tricked into thinking that what we're aware of is important, what we're thinking about. These things are important, but that what we're thinking about, what we're aware of, is the solution, is where we have to fix these things or have a better relationship to them or better mindfulness of them. And then we need to be mindful of things, but how we're aware of them, how we're mindful. So to assume a meditation posture, and to gently close your eyes. And to begin the meditation, to do just the simplest possible check-in with yourself. How are you? It could be as simple as from scale 1 to 10, where 10 is really good and 1 is feeling pretty lousy. Where are you on that scale? And as you recognize how you are you reactive to how you are? Are you judging how you are? Are you somehow entangled or concerned about how you are? Or is there a way of just knowing how you are and let the knowing be so really simple? Almost as if the part of you that can know maybe doesn't feel the way you are. Knowing just as peaceful and quiet, open. And maybe not. That's okay. And then to take a few long, slow, deep breaths, relaxing as you exhale. And letting your breathing return to normal, normal enough. And continue as you exhale to soften and relax into your body, settling here. And as you exhale, to relax the thinking mind. Softening in the mind. And then becoming aware, if it's there, where in your body might your reactivity still remain? Or where in the body are you emotionally activated, either in ways that are pleasant or unpleasant, challenging or comforting? And gently let that part of your body soften as you exhale. Not to make it go away, but let it allow to be there in a soft way. It's okay. Taking a few moments to feel your global body, the way your whole body feels as a whole, as your attention roams around inside the body. And then, as if it's in the center of your body, become aware of your breathing, centering yourself on the breathing, so that as the inhale expands, you feel like your whole torso, whole breathing fills your body, feeling the global body as you breathe in, letting it all return to the center within. as you exhale. As if breathing is a gentle hand that's accompanying you with however you are, without being reactive or without being for or against anything. Just there, breathing with, breathing through. And then notice how you're aware. Is there some adjustments you can make to how you're aware? So awareness is more peaceful. You might have desires, but awareness doesn't. You might have aversions, but awareness doesn't. You might be in all kinds of ways, but awareness is like the space within which all things occur. Letting your awareness be like space, or letting your awareness be peaceful. Awareness knows, but it doesn't react. And as we come to the end of this sitting, to check in with yourself again, like at the beginning. And how are you? How are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And keep it that simple. The simplest recognition of how you are. And to see how you can recognize yourself without reactivity, without judgment, without holding on or wanting it different. Just aware. But also becoming aware of how things have shifted for you from the beginning of the meditation to now. Is how you are changed? Is there a way to know yourself here as you meditate? That is an act of care or respect or even love. Just to know. Allowing yourself to be as you are, but to know it. Knowing that's not impatient, knowing that's not filled with wanting, just knowing. And then to turn that attention out into the world. And to open awareness to this complicated world we live in. But let the knowing be simple. Let the knowing know itself as peaceful, as calm, as open and spacious. Just aware of all things, the 10,000 sorrows, the 10,000 joys, and finding a home in awareness. Find your good fortune in awareness. And to extend that awareness out into the world so it can be a channel for your goodwill, your well-wishing. You don't have to love others to wish them well. But understand that meditation is here to help us benefit ourselves and benefit the world. And may it be that whatever we've learned in our meditation for how to be present, how to be attentive, may it be the channel for our goodwill. May it be part of our heart's joy to wish people well, to see them, to appreciate them in their inherent value, in their preciousness. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful, and may all beings be free. Thank you. So welcome to this fourth talk on wise listening. And so the fourth topic is to listen so that it's beneficial. To listen for what's the most helpful for others. In the ancient language, in terms of speech, the fourth criteria is to speak what is beneficial. But the word that's being given for beneficial is atta, which means also the goal. And the goal is freedom. The goal is to be free of suffering, classically in Buddhism. And so when we apply this to listening, is to listen from a place of freedom, the best that we have, from a place of listening from a place where the benefits we received from meditation, maybe the best benefits we received, becomes a reference point to how to listen to others. And like for example, for me, there's a few times, maybe I'm having to go someplace, I'm a little bit late, but someone wants to talk to me, and I can feel inside I'm impatient. And I've learned to recognize that my impatience is my own, and not to in any kind of way project that onto the others, like other people, and somehow think poorly of them or think the problem is with them. But rather, I've learned that my impatience harms me. My impatience is unfortunate that I should lose a settled place. So I make it my practice then to return to a place of settledness or openness or freedom where I'm not caught in the impatience. The byproduct of that is then I can listen without that impatience, which is a much better way to listen. And so I'm listening with the highest benefit for myself as a reference point. And as I practice with that, then I, with a little bit of luck, can be available without that hindrance and just be there listening to others. So that pattern of checking in with myself, what the hindrances I have, and freeing myself of it, means that I'm not trying to be impatient, act impatient, or really what's happening is I'm impatient. Really what's happening is I'm caught up in my desires, or really what's happening is I'm not listening, I'm caught up in needing to prove myself, or defend myself, or do something. And that gets in the way of really being listening to someone. But rather than insisting that I should listen, the practice is, Gil, take a good look here. Become free of these hindrances, or at least free enough so that it becomes, I can come into the listening without it, and then I'm a better listener as a byproduct of doing this inner work. I might be motivated originally to be a better listener, but I know that I should check in and work on myself so that I can be a better listener. So to listen in a way that's beneficial, to listen in a way where we're tapping into the deepest benefits that we know that's available, maybe from practice or from our spirituality or from our life. This is part of healthy listening, dharmic listening. And then to listen in such a way that we have other people's welfare in mind as well. So to listen in a way so that, we hear people out. I mean, for people to be heard out, to receive the gift of listening, to receive someone who holds it all spaciously, even if they have a tendency to overspeak and are dominating, there's some wonderful aikido, wonderful kind of movement that just, instead of being reactive to that, step towards it and open up and listen even better. The very thing maybe that I sometimes don't want to do because now I'm reinforcing their over-speaking, but sometimes to step forward and get involved, active listening, and get interested. And sometimes people who speak too much haven't had that experience of people really interested in them, and perhaps something deeper in them needs to be fed or needs to be met than just the words they're speaking. So the idea of offering the highest benefit to others through our listening, and is a wonderful reference point for being a listener. It doesn't have to be this way all the time. It maybe shouldn't be this way all the time. It's not naive and overlooking the context. But this is one of the gifts that can come out of this practice, is really becoming not only a good listener, but listening in such a way that we're attuning ourselves or we're connecting ourselves to some deeper potential of freedom that's possible in the other person. One form that it takes is to listen appreciating the other person, appreciating something about them maybe that they can't even appreciate in themselves, appreciating their capacity for love, their appreciating here's a tender person, here's a person with life experiences that's been difficult, and they're doing their best they can given their challenges. So yesterday I read this poem, the Song of the Open Road by Walt Whitman, and he has a wonderful line, I think it's the second line of the poem, that goes something like, I ask not for good fortune, I am good fortune. So rather than asserting out in the world, provide me with benefits, provide me with good fortune, he says, I am good fortune. And this is the possibility of this practice, is that we're not looking outside of ourselves to be happy or to be peaceful. We become our inner peace. We become an inner happiness. We find it in ourselves. And it takes some responsibility of finding it here. So it's listening in a way that's beneficial, that has the highest welfare in mind, can transform an individual so that we just feel like, yes, all kinds of conventional misfortunes can happen to us, but we are the good fortune. We are the free heart. We are the open mind, and that's so beneficial that why would we allow ourselves to get carried away by impatience, as I talked about earlier, or carried away by reactivity or fear, when we have a practice to help us go back and find that place of good fortune, find that place of freedom, find that place of openness. And then from there, listen to others. From there, take care of what needs to be taken care of in the world. Take care of our challenges and our difficulties, but to carry our good fortune with us. So to listen from the place that's most beneficial in us, to have some sense of that. And that's one of the values of this meditation practice, is to find some reference point of well-being that can help us listen to that and with that, be in the world, be present in the world, connected to that, open to it. What's the highest benefit here for me? And certainly I asked this for myself, and and, uh, and frequently enough, I've been caught up in something that seems important, and it's not the highest benefit. I had my car serviced yesterday, and I was a little bit concerned about the price, and the concerns with some little bit would I be overcharged and different things. But I could see that why would I come with that tension and tightness uh, to and cause myself this kind of tension with those kinds of concerns. So certainly I had those thoughts in the back of my mind, but I relaxed and just kind of stayed there and appreciated the service person that I was with, and and uh, and just it was a very nice conversation, and I delighted in him, and I think he kind of started smiling and was happy as well, and at some point he asked me, um, something like, "How are you?" And I said, honestly, I said, "Oh, I'm quite happy," because I was sitting there quite happy. I'd done my work to be in that kind of place. And then I said, I'm quite happy, except for I'm not so happy about the high price of the service. You know, I wasn't asking for anything, but that was just true. There's a little bit. He seemed kind of high, expensive, and he said, "Okay, I'll take $100 off." And I don't know if it was. I don't know how much you want to make from that little story. But the important point was, here was a situation where I was going to be present. I was going to take care of myself in the situation and not sacrifice my own well-being because of my fears, because of my concerns. In a small situation like this, I was going to take care of the situation the best I could, but I was going to care for this place of freedom and not get caught by something that compromised it in myself. So I kind of became my own good fortune in a way that Walt Whitman talks about. So to listen, be present to others from our freedom, and do the inner work that stays us close to that, that's really great. That's a fantastic thing to do. So thank you. And so we have one more talk tomorrow on wise listening.